Hello everyone, I am Tacet and welcome to the Gems of War Raids Week 6 Day 2. So, we have several things that we're going to be going over today. The main one of which, of course, is being we have, Salty just did her stream yesterday, or last night. And that means we have a lot of screenshots I can now go over and say things about. So that's pretty nice. We'll be doing that in a moment. Before I do though, we do currently have a pet. So before I forget, since I was setting up the stream, wasn't able to tick it yet, so let's go and do that right now. Just clear through these. We are also getting a new pet tomorrow. It is a pretty weak pet, but still, nonetheless, the 24-hour pet tomorrow is going to be a Yeti thing. I forget its exact name off the top of my head, but it's some kind of Yeti, and it gives you a Glacial Peaks bonus. This bonus is near useless, but still, it's a new pet nonetheless, so we have that to look forward to. Definitely not worth throwing gems at it, not even remotely close. But you still, of course, want to actually obtain it and do the little pet battle thingy. Anyways, we'll go clear the board, and we'll go from there. But yeah, we'll show all the previews pretty much as soon as we get this pet. We'll show all the previews for version 3.5, and I'll also allow people to start rolling in as well, so people won't miss as much. So we'll be doing that soon. Probably in 5 minutes. Doesn't take too long to get through these little battles here. Yeah, Salty is pretty funny. She still didn't give me codes, by the way. Even after all the asking from yesterday. It's like, nope, still no codes yet. We'll get them soon. She'll remember eventually. Anyways, we'll get the Gorgoltha down. Get all the manas we need. I might just have to throw a second one. After I'll go for skulls instead. How did that not get you to full mana? Well, we'll do that on to green. Get a Glaceon down if we have it. Yes, we do. And that's match. Way overkill. Way extremely overkill. And down it goes. Yeah, hello everyone. Hello Demon Angel. Hello Zero. Hello William. Hello Herberto. Hello Sandy. Hello hello Derek. Hello TJ. Hello Churros. Welcome all. And welcome everyone else. And hello Jamie. And as far as today's plan for the raids, I believe it's going to be a mixture of what we used yesterday as well as what was suggested yesterday, using that weapon that one-shots everything. My only real big concern with the weapon that one-shots everything is that we can't, we don't gain the extra attack value. So we're basically going to have to put a frontline tank in the front of our team and roll it that way, which I guess is still perfectly fine because, of course, after replacing out the one, we'll have one spot left to go put anything into. So, because we can't use two red-green, so we're going to have to replace out the other troop. So we'll basically just use that as the frontline tank. I don't recall there being a really proper frontline tank, though, for the Kingdom. Like, none of it has stone skin or anything like that. It would mainly just have to be something that doesn't block anything, even if it's not that particularly good at tanking. Good evening, Tim. Welcome. I hope all of you have been doing pretty good this week. It has been really drainy. That's a new word for gloomy day, I guess. It's been a very, very gloomy day today. Like raining the entire time. Dark. It looks like it's been nighttime the entire day. It's been so dark here. Anyways, let's go through the Gorgoltha down. Get a last little bit of our damage that we need. And do we have alignment? No, we do not. I'm still throwing it. Wow, that it destroyed so much. I don't even think that was our turn, but still, but that did a lot of damage. And we get our guaranteed treasure map, basically. Did you see on Xbox, someone crafted a Zugaf legit? I did not see that yet. Very nice. That might be one of the first ones ever. I don't recall anyone on PC Mobile getting it yet. Though, someone probably has. I just haven't seen it around. Yeah, give it about another month or two, particularly starting next patch. Because there are even more ways to gain orbs next patch. And probably a lot of new features that they keep adding. We'll just keep adding more and more ways to obtain orbs. It won't be like a ridiculously good way to gain orbs, like how Bounty Hunter is. But still, they're going to keep adding ways to slowly obtain them throughout the game. So eventually Zugaf, like give it like 6 months from now, with all the new features that they'll be adding over the course of this year, it's probably actually going to be relatively easy to get them. You know, not like excessively easy, but a lot easier than it is now, currently. Okay, well, this board is just horrifically bad. Here's one of the instances where I actually would want a Captain Skullbeard, because it would function a lot better with this kind of board. But we'll get that down. See if we can get Apothecary somewhere. Yeah, it looks like we have it on purple, and that should be all the mana we need to get this rolling. All we have to do is cast this. And that doesn't actually secure a kill yet. I was hoping we'd get a Cascade or something, so we'll go do that again. That should be enough for our Glaceon, and sure, we'll just throw it. And we have our alignment anyways, and down it goes. And that's match. All we have to do is clean it up with this other thing. And that'll be way overkill. There we go. And we got our guarantee map, pretty much. Never gonna run low on maps, that's for sure. Though they are planning on, in the future, maybe adding a way to use multiple maps at once, which would be really cool. For slightly higher rewards. Because I know I have way more than I would ever realistically use. A lot of people do. Okay, let's go move that. Get a Glaceon in here if we have it. We do. And as soon as we finish out these last few battles, we'll go over all of the 3.5 spoilers that I'm currently allowed to share, which is basically everything that Salty showed during her stream. Someone made a very nice little post with a bunch of screenshots from the of her stream last night, so I didn't even have to put it together. It's already there, so I could just roll right down it instead of having to keep doing like image by image like I had to do for the pets. Anyways, we'll take the skull there. See if we can get Apothecary down. I guess we'll do it on green and a Glaceon, then win. So that'll be the game plan here. We'll do that. He'll do whatever. We'll throw all that down. And it'll pretty much just go down to the burst of whatever we do to follow up. And never mind, I don't even need to follow it up. It just takes it out with that automatically. Then we just have the last 2 battles. Hello, Steve! Okay, take the greens. Take the brown. Take another brown. Take one more brown or yellow. Clear the board. Throw Apothecary. Win. We'll throw that first and get a nice Apothecary, hopefully off alignment. No, we'll throw that in again. That'll give us Glaceon. Glaceon will give us nothing. So let's go convert something out. That'll also get rid of his Death Mark, just in case. You never know. Don't want him randomly dying for no reason. So we'll go through this there. That should be the Doom Skulls we need to get the alignment on the other color. Or not. How do we move this? I guess we move it that way. Never mind, that still doesn't give us guarantee thingy. That still doesn't give us guarantee. I think I'm still going for it, though. So it's his turn because we didn't have alignment. Please end your turn. Thank you. And he doesn't even go for the kill. Good job, AI. Very smart AI right there. We'll go for that, and oops, it's our turn, and down he goes. That was a bit of a clunky battle. Not like it matters if we lose, as long as we do it in the time frame thing. Also, oh wait, never mind. Why did that move? Oh, I see, because... Oh yeah, never mind. One of my other tabs was being weird. Okay, we'll go and, let's see, move the brown down. Go get a Gorgolfa. Hello, Andrew! You got your last pet today. Congratulations! Right in time to get the other new pet that's coming in tomorrow. Though once you have all pets, it's ridiculously easy to keep all pets. I don't know if they're ever going to be changing that up. They're definitely not next patch. But once you have every single one, the way that they add new ones into the game is you pretty much automatically get them every single time. So once you have all of them, you'll always have all of them, which is kind of cool. Of course, the other factor now is actually getting all of them to Mythic, but that's a whole thing in itself. Okay. Can we get a Glaceon here? No. So let's go convert out yellow. That makes it so we can't get the other convert, but ideally we'll have it on red, which we don't. So we'll go explode everything, get a nice Glaceon down, and that'll be match. It's aligned, but he went for the kill. Do we have it aligned on the other color? No, we did not. So, yeah, that's not good. We'll just take a skull, I guess. See what else we could do here. Doesn't look like much. I'm kind of hesitant to go throw it yet, so we'll go for that. Get all of our mana back, get the cleanse. Now we... Oh, no, we don't have it. I was thinking that we had the Glaceon. Okay, I'm still going to go for it. So we'll do that. Get a bunch of damage. Apparently almost all the damage. Throw it down again, and that should pretty much be match. Of course you would revive. The meat shield. We'll go through that. Clear out the board. Explode, kill it. Dead. And then we get a bunch of fairies. Fairies actually isn't even one of the batter ones. Words. One of the worst ones? Yeah, I don't know what word I want to say there, but it's definitely somewhat decent. Not like one of the top tier ones, but it's not horrible. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, we just got it up to legendary as well. Perfect. I'm not sure when I'm going to bother upgrading it, because there's other purples that have priority over this thing. But Fae bonus, there are some Fae teams that aren't horrible. And if they keep adding more better Faes, we'll have some options to use. They're generally built around Queen Mab, fully traded. Any kind of Fae team, because she is a Fae. So yeah, basically for those kind of teams. And I believe it gains a lot of extra magic, if I'm not mistaken, using 3x, 4x Fae. So getting her fully upgraded could give like a whole extra magic value. Anyways, that's that. Let's go into the spoilers now. So, of course, Salty last night ended up doing a stream where she basically spoiled a bunch of stuff. And since she showed it, I can go over literally every single one of those things. And I'll basically just be going into the screenshots and going into slightly more insight into each one. Well, not like excessively more insight, but, you know, we'll be just going over them and just kind of revamping everything that she did end up mentioning. So let me go get the window capture, go make this visible, and let's start going over all these things. Oops, that's not how you make it visible. And there we go. Okay, so let me go zoom in a bit. Let's see, is that coming through okay? Should be. Let me go move this over, go to this tab, and let's zoom in a little bit. That should make the images bigger too. Yeah, it is. Okay. So that should hopefully be big enough. Double check how it's looking in the stream. Should be fine. You guys can see that, right? You guys can see this? Let me know if you can or cannot. Probably if you're on a mobile device, it might be a little bit hard. But it's about the same chat size as the actual chat, so should be visible enough. Anyways, so first screenshot here. As you guys know, PC Mobile is getting daily tasks. Also, console players are getting slightly revamped tasks, so even if you're a console player, you're still getting changes to this. But anyone on console are pretty much aware of what the system is. It's just daily tasks that you get every single day where you can go and claim a little bit of extra rewards. They're not really anything big. They're just kind of, hey, do this, and you get like a little bit of gold or a little bit of souls or a little bit of gems or, you know, so on and so forth. But still another little extra thing just to give you something extra every single day if you happen to be on and do the task. So yeah, really nice. Most games these days that are free to play have this kind of system. And Gems of War is finally getting it, or on the case of console is getting an updated version of it. Next screenshot we have is showing just the daily tasks over to the side. You can also completely hide it if you condense that little button. I don't think she showed it, but all you have to do is click the button and the daily tasks just completely go over to the side. It just looks like one of those little event things, like that little tab thing. It just looks like one of those. It's not really that intrusive. It does look like it when the way that it is right there. But if you just click a button, it'll all condense down and you don't have to ever look at it, and you can just completely ignore them if you want. She accidentally opened up keys, and as you can see, one of the many ways that you can obtain ingots other than from battles and from events is specifically from keys. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, only gem keys as of currently. Not sure if they'll be changing that, but it is possible to get ingots. That is the correct pronunciation, right? I'm pretty sure it's ingot. That's how she was saying it. That's also how YouTube said it, ingot. But yeah, as far as the ingots are concerned, I believe you can get every single rarity from ultra rare and above in gem keys. The lower rarity ones, I believe, are mostly obtained just from doing battles. You can obtain them quite commonly. I know on my lower level Let's Play account, or not even Let's Play account, but on the beta testing account, I already had like 5 at level 15 or something like that, not even. So, of the common ones. So I'm pretty sure you can gain them pretty commonly just from doing battles. I'm not sure if they're in literally every single battle, but I know that they are pretty common, as they would suggest by being common rarity. This just shows that you can gain ignots from gem keys, as you can see right there, ignots and trait stones. One thing to note about ignots too that she did indeed confirm is that ignots will not be overriding any of the actual drop table. So for example, you will still have the exact same chance of getting mythics and legendaries. Their drop rate have not been decreased. They are just adding ignots on top of that. I don't know if that actually counts as a single key thing. I believe it does, because if I'm not mistaken, when I was on the other account, I got 3 drops, and one of them was ignot, which means it did replace one of my drops. So basically, with the introduction of ignots, they're going to be rolling on their own little table, but they're not going to affect the drop rate of legends and mythics, but they are technically going to affect the drop rates of you getting other trait stones, getting ultra rares, and getting epic. So do keep that in mind from gem keys. But as far as specifically getting legends and mythics, their drop rate has not been touched at all with the introduction of ignots into the key. Next up, we have a really fun one, probably my favorite thing that they did during this patch. They have really made heroes viable by a lot. Like, heroes are kind of okay right now. Starting next patch, your hero is best in slot for literally every team ever, pretty much. Because they are gaining so many effects, many of which are insanely powerful once you have completely maxed it out. You're going to need to get champion levels now. Every single hero can have 100 champion levels. You gain champion EXP from doing normal battles everywhere. You gain, I believe it even says it somewhat in that screenshot right there. If I go click on it and make it a little bit bigger. That did not make it any bigger at all. I like how I do that, and it almost makes it smaller. But you gain 1 EXP from things like Explorer and challenges and quests like that, and you gain 2 EXP from Arena, PvP, and Guild Wars and the such. So you end up accumulating your EXP that way, and it ends up increasing your champion level. Every X amount of champion levels, you can then get a new effect, and you have 3 to choose from. They're basically like how perks are now, except they are a lot more diverse and a lot more useful, and you get to customize them. You can change them at any time. Do keep in mind that they're still retaining the 50 gem cost to switch between classes. They are looking into that in the future, but for now it will be staying the same. But basically, as far as these perks, there's going to be, I believe, 7 of them, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there, and you'll be able to have any of those 7 active at any given time. You can only have, there's going to be 3 per category, but you can only have one of those 3 active at a time, but you can switch them at whim as many times as you want. And some of them you will need to switch around because they are specifically focused on current, on specific things, and you'd want to use one kind of combination for one kind of team, and then maybe another for another kind of team, so on and so forth. And it's going to be a really nice feature. There's also going to be, as you'll see lower down, there's going to be events, some of which happen monthly, some of which happen almost weekly, where you'll be able to go and gain additional EXP towards your champion levels. These events will be towards a specific champion level, so let's say one of them is for the Sorcerer class, a champion event for specifically Sorcerer class, and you'd be able to gain a lot more EXP towards that class during that event. It is a sigil system, unfortunately, but there are other rewards other than just that, like power orbs as well as just smaller resources and the such. There's also ways that if you're a newer player, you can just kind of power level through it as well by spending gems, though of course for most people they're probably just going to not spend gems on it. Here is the talent trees I was talking about. There are, if I'm not mistaken, 7 categories. I forget the increments in which they're in. Is there not a screenshot of it? I believe it's 1, 5, 10, 20. I forget the next 50, 100? No, it's 50, 70, 100, I believe it is. I forget what they are off the top of my head. Hopefully there's one going down. But there's about 7 or 8 of these little perk trees things. And as you can see, we're able to see a couple different spoiler things from here. Like all purple allies gain 2 life for this level 1/1. In this, you could either... also, keep in mind, this is whenever the... I believe most of these are whenever the... some of them start at the beginning of battle. Some of them start whenever you actually cast with the hero. There's certain circumstances to them. Some of them still have weird wording, where it's kind of hard to tell specifically what. As you can see, all purple allies gain 2 life. Not sure if that's at the start of battle or just every time it casts. Give a random ally a random stats effect. There's that, which I assume that's a random positive stats effect. And again, the wording isn't there. Hopefully they'll add things like that. Give a random ally... That's the exact same screenshot. Why is there 2? And wait, why is it repeating? Okay, 20% chance, as you can see on one of the higher ones, 20% chance to summon an ancient golem when they take damage to life. So this one's a lot more clearer when it actually triggers. Whenever it takes specifically life damage, it could possibly create a golem, which is actually pretty decent. Golem has 50% reduction. This makes it similar to an Orb Weaver class in a way, just kind of different form. And there's a lot of really unique, interesting kind of things that they can get. Many mechanics of which aren't really currently in the game, which is kind of cool. As you can see here, here's Disease, a random enemy on 4 or 5 times matches on its 3rd thing, which is already pretty decent. So, yeah, there's a lot of really good ones out there, and if I'm not mistaken, this is on Sorcerer, isn't it? Yeah, Sorcerer could have a lot of potential. A lot of hero classes can have a lot of potential with these little extra benefits that they basically get from their talent trees. And as you can see, all Nagas here gain 1 armor at every single turn, which that alone, 1 armor for all Nagas, if you're using a full Naga team, that's well, actually, this hero class I don't think can be set as Nagas, so that's 3 armor per turn just from having this single perk on, which is really easy to obtain. That perk would take you like 10 minutes of playing the game to obtain with this hero class, like maybe like 15. Even as a newer player, it is ridiculously quick. Steal 1 life from the first enemy when I take match purple gems. That's insanely good if you're doing mass purples. That's basically Yagwe's final trait, except it's 1 instead of 3. And again, that's on one of its lower ones. It's really easy to obtain. Would take like 10 minutes, not even to obtain, even as a newer player. And as you can see, you can have 1 per every single category active at once. And obviously, you'd want to put whatever ones fit for your specific team that you're going to be using. Also, I believe it showed another one too. 50% chance to summon a Hellspawn when an enemy dies. So, of course, there's that as well. A lot of really interesting things with that. 20% chance to summon a Sister of Shadows, so on and so forth, when an enemy dies. Here's a new mechanic that's coming in too. Gain 3 magic if using a tome. You may be wondering what on earth a tome is, but there are a lot of new weapon classifications that are being added to the game. If I'm not mistaken, the screenshot for that is way lower down here. But if we go all the way down and spoil all these other ones real quick, to go down to what I'm referring to with this, where is it? I know it's here. There it is. So basically, there's going to be every single weapon in the entire game is going to be getting a specific typing, and of course, certain hero classes will be using certain weapons. Like for example, Warlord will likely have benefits for axes, Sorcerer will likely have benefits to Tome and Scythe, Necromancer for Scythe, Knight for Shield, so on and so forth. But there's basically a bunch of categories now for every single weapon within the game, and there are going to be certain hero classes that will do, let's say, like gain 3 magic if you're using a polearm or something like that, and other basic status effects and benefits if using a specific weapon type, which is kind of cool. It'll make somewhat dead weapons a little bit better too in specific instances, and it's a really cool classification system. Really like it, and has a lot of potential. And it's a way that they could easily buff weaker types, like for example shields, which I don't think there's a single really shield-like weapon that is even used, because normally the offensive ones are better. Anyways, I believe we have a few more talent tree things that are spoiled here. Let's see. All daemons gain 1 attack. Oh, here's one of the final ones. Also, we can see it here. It is, the categories for it are 1, 5, 10. Let's see, 1, 5, 10, 20, 40, 70, 100. Okay, I was right. There are 7. But the categories are 1, 5, 10, 20, 40, 70, and 100. Do keep in mind, it is relatively hard to hit 70 and 100. I forget the exact amount of time that would take, but it is not quick. I think it would take you like 1 week, if I'm not mistaken, to fully upgrade that if you're playing like a few hours every single day. And you would have to do that for every single hero class in the game to max them out. Of course, there are ways to expedite it, which I'll be going over in a moment with the new minigames and such. But it will take a little while to actually reach there, which is kind of to be expected. But as you could kind of expect, the ones lower down are insanely good more often than not. Like this one, all enemies lose 1 point on a random skill whenever it matches gems, which is basically just like a Moloch final trait. And keep in mind, this already stacks on top of the 3 traits heroes normally have. So you have the 3 normal traits well, basically, perks, as we know it, have been completely removed from the game. It's replaced with its talent tree system. And, but the traits that they have, the current 3 traits every single hero class has, they still retain in the next patch. So you have those 3 traits, and then you have all 7 of these perks, which you can choose any of them. There's 21 perks total. You can choose one of the 3 per category, assuming you've unlocked them all. But as you can see, this one, all enemies lose 1 point to random skill. This one, all constructs gain 10 life, which is pretty bad. But, you know, some of them will be better than others. Here we can see one of the ways that you can actually obtain more class points or class EXP towards one of your classes. And that is specifically from class events. These occur once a month guaranteed, as well as, I believe, almost every week or every single week. Kind of like how the pet event is in a way. But, it's basically, it'll be a random class, in this case it's Warlord, and you'll just be able to gain more EXP. You also get other smaller rewards like gems, orbs, and other various stuff as you go through. Do keep in mind, this is based on a sigil system, unfortunately, so yeah, doing all the battles and stuff like that could be questionable, because you're probably going to have to throw several gems out, and it probably wouldn't really be worth it. You'd probably just use whatever free ones you have and just do that. I don't think it's going to be worth spending gems on, personally. But maybe when it first comes out, people will want to do it because they want to go power level everything. But for the most part, I would say just do the normal ones, default ones you get, and don't bother with gems on it, because it is yet another gem sink, and it is yet another sigil system, unfortunately. As we can see here, here's just a page summary of one of the things. It shows all the perks that you currently have active, specifically the name of it as well as their icon. It tells you what color the weapon is. The one that it gains extra magic off of is what it's referring to with the color there. It tells you what level your hero is. That's the EXP related one with souls. And then there's the champion level, which is the one with all the champion EXP. And again, you get 1 champion EXP from like challenges, explore, and stuff like that. And you get 2 from things like arena and PvP, 2 EXP per battle. And you have to win it, of course. But yeah, it's still pretty easy to accumulate even without any of the events. Here's just a leaderboard thingy. There is going to be a leaderboard for every single one of these class events, so this might give more incentive to actually go and play them, because there's the chance of getting higher amount of gems, as well as orbs and stuff like that. And I believe even the 1 day long events of this still have this leaderboard, so this might be a really easy way to gain additional power orbs, because not too many people are going to bother going too high on this leaderboard. Maybe initially they will be, but give it like 1 month, not even. And this leaderboard will be very scarce because everyone will be using the leader. They'll be trying for the leaderboard on better events. They're not going to be using it on something as kind of useless as the class event, especially once they finally max out their classes. It'd be near pointless. So this leaderboard should be relatively easy to actually place on. Maybe not place number 1 on, but as far as actually placing on it to get like an orb or a few orbs, it should be pretty easy to end up doing. Other than that, you can just see the class event thing here. Nothing too special there. It's just a standard little mini game thing. As far as how class events work, you're restricted to 2 things. You're restricted based on the kingdom and the type. So, for example, this is a warlord. So, this is a warlord event. This one that she's been showing during this, as we saw. You could even see it by the icon right there. That's the warlord icon and the broken spire in the background. Basically, what this means is you're restricted only to your hero using any weapon, as well as the kingdom and the type of the hero class. So, for example, the warlord hero class counts as a broken spire troop, as well as a giant. So that means for this battle, you can only use broken spire troops and giants. You can use any giant and you can use any broken spire troop in any way you want, but you are restricted to using one of those 2 for every single one of these battles. So you'll likely build some kind of 4x giant team for this specific one, since broken spire doesn't really have too many good things in there other than maybe an infernus. Actually, technically, yeah, you could throw an infernus in there, so I didn't think about that. You could go like Euro infernus something, and kind of go that, and of course your hero. Actually, I don't believe your hero has to be used. I'm not fully certain on that. I know you gain EXP even if the hero is not in your team, though I am not certain specifically for this game mode if your hero does or does not need to be in your team. I think it cannot be used and still counts, though more often than not you probably still would use it due to the lack of restrictions that you would have. You'd probably want to use Mang and stuff like that. We don't currently know how high they scale up, because of course Salty didn't really go too far into that, but yeah, once we see how far they scale up. If they scale like dungeons, we probably won't need hero. But if they scale more like raids or invasions, then we definitely will need Mang and other similar Mang-like weapons. Here's just showing more of the rewards. You can see a bunch of gold, gems, and Warlord EXP, or whatever the specific class is of the given time. And here's more of the rewards, as you can see. As far as free battles, I believe you can get up to around round 3. I'm not fully certain on that. It depends how they run sigils as well. I forget if they have Val Ravens or anything in the game mode. But as you can see, here's the little battle page right here. And just shows all the standard stuff that a battle page normally would do, all your points, all that kind of stuff, and how many sigils you have remaining. Obviously, there's a gold sync, a gem sync related shop. Here's a couple of rewards. Did she show the rest of them? Yeah, she did. She has a couple more screenshots of them that she ended up doing. But as you can see, it's just class event troops. So basically what this means is it will give you random, in this case, Broken Spire and Giant troops. So it could give you any Giants and Broken Spires within the game when you end up doing that, which is kind of cool. It's a nice way to kind of focus different typings of troops. Not really that useful for most typings, but if it was something like Dragon's Claw, where they gave you Dragon's Claw and Dragons as drops, that would actually be pretty decent of a drop table, and may even be worth considering throwing down the gems on. But for the most part, these things are not really going to be that worth it unless you're trying for a leaderboard, as I mentioned. As you see here was her playing a standard PvP battle. She gains 2 Sorcerer EXP for doing so. As I mentioned, it's PvP, arena, stuff like that. Challenges, explore, the kind of quicker things within the game are only 1 EXP each, but they still give you EXP. Even if you don't use your hero on your team, you still gain EXP for it, as long as you have the hero class set. Here are some more of the rewards that you can end up attaining. You can also see, you can even get the weapon for the hero class specifically without even needing to go and get 250 wins. Of course, it's a lot easier and cheaper to get 250 wins, but you can technically do it just by spending gems. If I'm not mistaken, that costs like almost 750, if not more, actually more than that. That costs almost 900 gems to reach, which is insanely expensive just to get that weapon that you would automatically get anyways at 250 wins. But of course, you're getting a bunch of other stuff on your way there. I'm pretty sure no one would actually realistically go to that. I think tier 4 is really as far as you would even really go. Not sure. We'd have to see exactly how far people bother going on the leaderboard and stuff. But for the most part, you would never really throw gems at the class events. Here you can see the page. You can fight these battles in any order you want. You have to fight every single one once. You're actually scored based on how many troops don't die. So you need to make sure every single one of your troops survive in the battle. So things like barrier spam and stuff like that will be useful. I haven't tested it yet to see if summoning will retain your points or not. I'm still not fully certain on that, but we'll find out on that a little bit later. But basically, you have to defeat all 5 of these using your specific team related to whatever the restriction is. So in this case, Broken Spire and Giants is what we'd have to use to destroy all 5 of these teams. And we'd have to do so without losing a single troop. Or we can still lose troops, but it hurts our amount of points that we get every single time we do lose one. If I'm not mistaken, she said you lose 1 point exactly. It actually says it right at the bottom there. Each battle earns leaderboard points -1 for each troop you lose. So keep that in mind. And other than that, this was just her showing what you could use. Of course, it's just Broken Spire and Giant, so every single Broken Spire and Giant was what you could use for the Warlord things. So ingots, I didn't really mention much about ingots, but of course ingots can be used now to upgrade new weapons that are within the game, or not new weapons, but all weapons within the game. There's one for every single rarity: common, rare, ultra rare, epic, and legendary and mythic. And you basically just use these things, and they give you various additional perks on weapons, as you can see right here. Here's a man gaining a little bit more attack, life, armor. There's also various effects that you can get, though a good majority of what you get for these troops, or from these bonuses, are extra stats when your hero specifically uses that weapon. As you can see here, here's one for Anusceptor. Some of the weaker weapons actually have quite a bit more effects, and some of the weapons that in the past used to be considered pretty bad are actually somewhat decent due to the kind of effects that they've gotten from this. So for example, this thing gains enchant now, I believe after every single cast. I forget exactly what that says fully. And as you can see here, it gives 1 mana to all allies every single time you end up doing its cast as well. So there's a lot of various different perks that you can get on these weapons now. Of course, most of them are towards the end of the weapon itself, but it makes a lot of the really weak weapons in the past actually useful now. So things that you would kind of consider dead content on weapons have been buffed to a degree that if you got all of these ignots on it, they might not actually be that bad, which is kind of cool. So as you can see here, here's Dawnbringer. It has Hot, which is destroy a random red gem every single time, so you're gaining at least 1 of your red mana back, and just gains a bunch of other various stats and stuff like that. But yeah, they're adding this to every single one of your weapons. It tells you all of the little effects. I don't know how many different effects there really are. There's quite a lot of them, quite a bit of variation. As you can see, it tells you all of them on the card too, as well as how far you've upgraded it. Every single weapon can get a different amount of upgrades. I believe mythic weapons can get 10, legendary 9, epics 8, ultra rare 7, rare 6, and commons 5, though I'm not sure if that's exactly how it goes. I actually forget off the top of my head, but of course the lower rarity weapons have less perks that you can get onto them, so it's still more desirable to use higher rarity weapons in most situations, assuming you have them, though some lower rarity ones, like let's say like the Crude Club and stuff, could have a bit more potential now that they would actually have additional various benefits on them. As we can see here, here's just more Mang bonuses. Here's just a page going over like everything here. As you can see, it shows you your level of your hero class now, your champion talent thing, and basically everything that you would really need to know whenever you bring up your little hero page now, which is kind of cool. Let's see, anything else really relevant here? Not really. Here was the things I was talking about earlier with the new weapon typings. There's now a typing for every single weapon, and various hero classes will now have benefits and perks that work to basically upgrade these different weapon types, basically making every weapon in the game a little bit more useful, particularly the least useful ones they've probably given slightly better benefits to. Also, she accidentally showed power levels. Power levels are being introduced into, or they're being revamped in next patch. They're also being scaled further. Any stars that you currently have, you will retain when you go into next patch, as well as the current star leveling system is still going to be in place, but they're going to be adding specific objectives that you have to do. So it'll tell you to do this, this, and this, and if you do all 3 of those things, you will then go and gain that star. And basically, as soon as you gain that star, it'll then tell you to do 3 additional things. These things, of course, will be the exact same for everyone, but basically, you'll be at star level 0, or let's just say you're a new player. You start at star level 0. It'll tell you to do like 2 or 3 things that are ridiculously easy. Boom, you do those. You now have 1 star. You then go do the next 3 things that it tells you. Boom, you do those. You have 2 stars, and you keep doing that until you have 20 stars. Of course, by the time you reach like 8, 9, 10 stars, there are going to be things that are ridiculously hard. Like maybe it'll say like get 10 legendaries within the kingdom, or send them to 10 or something like that, and you know it'll get increasingly harder the further you end up going into the stars, so to keep that in mind. I believe this also makes it so you have to do all the challenges within the kingdom now. Currently in the state of the game you don't have to do it, but if I'm not mistaken, one of the star levels does require you to complete every single challenge within the kingdom, which is ridiculously easy to do. But if you may have noticed in the past, I haven't done it on many of my kingdoms, and any kingdom I haven't done it on, I may just keep it that way, because that'll be funny. We'll have one of the few accounts that actually doesn't have the challenges completed. Because I think it'll still give us our star level even though we haven't completed the challenges. That'll be funny. But yeah, they'll basically tell you, do these 3 things, you do those 3 things, you get a star. And they're also extending the stars basically twice as far as they are now. And it looks like they have room to go even further, because the way that the stars are currently set up, they basically have like an epic coloring to them with purple. So it looks like they're still going to go up to orange and mythic, which means they're probably going to add they're adding 10 whole additional star levels next patch. And by the look of the coloring, it looks like they're planning on doing a whole nother 10 after that as well, to go all the way up to mythic. because next patch, basically how the star system is now in next patch compared to how it is literally right now, we're only in the rare category right now of star levels. But next patch is going to be expanded out to epic rarity that you can get up to kingdoms, and then sometime in way down the line in the future, maybe like a year from now, they'll extend it up to mythic rarity, and then you can finally like truly max out kingdoms. But yeah, they're expanding it way further than it is now, and 10 star as we know it today is going to be insanely easy to, well, not insanely easy, but a lot easier than it is now, if I'm not mistaken, to obtain starting next patch. So yeah, the second next patch goes out, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have every single kingdom at 10 star, or pretty close to it. So that's going to be kind of cool, because we gain a lot of extra stats from that. Get ready for like a gigantic stat boost, any late game player. I don't know what this screenshot's showing. It's just daily tasks again. Oh, it's just showing the upgrade of the star. It's adding another little star, I see. But yeah, it has a little animation for it whenever you gain a new star, which is kind of cool as well. But anyways, that is pretty much everything with the spoilers. It actually went a lot longer than I thought. Sorry that I wasn't really looking at chat. I'll go back into it in a second. A little bit hard when I'm on this screen because I don't have multiple screens, so whenever I bring something up like this, I can't really see anything. But anyways, that's basically everything with it, or at least everything that I can currently share. There are still a few other things here and there. As far as... Oh, that's not what I meant to remove. But there still are a few more other things. Oops, that's also not what I meant to remove. But there's still several other things with next patch. It's definitely by no means everything. But that is a good bulk of it. And we'll have more information and stuff that we could share starting next time when she goes over a little bit more of it. But yeah, really looking forward to next patch. Has a lot of really nice content coming in. Anyways, let me go and check back in chat, see if I missed anything. If you guys still have any other questions, anything you want me to go over, let me know. Just stream 3.5. I'm not going to stream 3.5. Salty is very specific on me not streaming it. And I will listen to her. Let's see. Yes, I do pronounce Ingnot correctly now. What do you use Ingnots for? You use them to upgrade weapons. There's one per rarity, and you use them to upgrade every single rarity weapon. So there'll be common ingots that you use on common weapons. There'll be rare ingots that you use on rare weapons, so on and so forth. And I'll probably be going over which weapons are the best to upgrade under each category and stuff like that. It's most likely going to be the weapons that are already really good, but of course, the weapons that are currently considered really good aren't necessarily all of the weapons that are actually going to be good starting next patch. Like for example, Anu's Scepter is generally a weapon never really used. Because of how it functions, but it's getting a lot of really good benefits onto it when it ends up getting fully upgraded. So even though it's not really considered that good of a weapon, it's going to become pretty decent starting next patch and stuff like that. And there's a lot of instances of that to various weapons, where currently they're never really used because other options are better, but they're gaining perks and effects that are going to make them viable for possibly the first time ever. Let's see. To get on hero level 20, still on souls, or change the class EXP? Getting level 20 on your hero is still souls, but getting your hero mastery thingy to level 100 is completely based on your new class-related EXP. And you gain this EXP from doing battles, as one from challenges, explorers, and stuff like that, and two from PvP, arena, and other content like the harder, longer pieces of content within the game. And you also gain a lot of its EXP during specific events where it will be for a certain hero class, and then you gain a lot of EXP during that. Yeah, I'm probably most excited for the talent tree system. Also, I don't know if I really re-mentioned it during this, but they're also adding the ability to see EXP, or the thing that scales off of magic in every ability. So as you guys know, there's sometimes troops that have multiple things within their description that are numbered, but they don't specifically... There's no real good indication what on earth is scaled on magic. But starting next patch, the thing that scales on magic will be highlighted in purple. And the thing that is not highlighted, or basically anything that is scaled based on magic will be purple text. So you'll know immediately just by reading the card and looking at the card which things specifically increase by it. So if this was next patch, this 29 would be in purple, which indicates that it uses magic. And every single card will be like this. Anything that within the card description that is specifically boosting based on magic will be highlighted in purple, whatever number. I believe that also is applicable to the boost ratio. Actually, never mind. It's only for the magic. I believe boost ratio is still somewhat confusing. They didn't do anything to clarify that. But specifically magic, you can simply just look at a card, instantly know what it's boosting, and it's going to be really easily readable. That's mainly for newer players, of course, but it could still help with newer content as well for late game players, because it can be somewhat confusing just by looking at a card sometimes what specifically actually boosts based on the magic. But now there'll be a clear within the game itself. indicating which stat or number is increasing based on its magic. When does the patch come out? Probably 2 to 3 to 4 weeks from now. They are planning to get it out within the next month. Or at least that is their plan. I believe Salty even said by almost the end of this month. About the end of this month they're trying to aim for. Though, of course, they might not be able to get it by that time. But I believe by the first week of next month is kind of when they're kind of shooting for. Soon TM, yeah, pretty much. So we have a play each class again to level it up again. I believe so, yes. I forget if it's going to roll over based on the current amount of battles you did, though I would assume it wouldn't. If I'm not mistaken, on the beta version, it actually does roll over. Like, the EXP you already have counts towards it. But I don't believe it will on the live version, though I'm not fully certain on that. Because that would be kind of weird if they do let it roll over. Because literally every late game player, even most mid games players, would instantly have it. Every single class fully maxed. Which would kind of defeat the whole purpose of the new system they added. So I'm not sure exactly how to do it. But if I'm not mistaken, it does roll over. Or at least on the beta version. That could, of course, change when it goes to live. I think maybe they just did it on the beta version so that we could test it. That's probably the case. So that probably isn't going to be that way when it goes live, most likely. I think they just did that because it's beta version, so we could actually test everything. Her face in some of those screenshots. Hello, Captain. Welcome. Can I say GemSync? GemSync. Well, I don't say GemSync weirdly. Any ideas of guessing when 3.5 will go live? Probably by the end of this month or early of July. But I believe they're aiming for end of this month. Let's see. Hello, Max. Welcome. Oops. I completely skipped past all the chat. How did it scroll down that quickly? Okay. 1 second. I read that. I read that. I read that. You remember people complaining about pets being a gem sink? You haven't spent a single gem on it? There really isn't much a need to spend gems on pets. They keep adding things that can spend gems on, but more often than not, you don't have to, and you don't need to. They're just kind of there if you want to. But most of the gem sinks that they've been adding as of recently are quite a bit more optional. The only things that were slightly annoying, which I think were like the most complained about, was the guild-related ones. Because the guild-related ones, at least in late game, aren't technically optional. Because if you're in a high-tier guild, they're going to want to get every reward. So you're going to have to go to at least like tier 3, tier 4, and stuff like that. That's not really an option. You kind of just have to do it because you have to help out your guild. But all the other ones, like things with like the pets, that's by no means really anything because you don't have to ever do those. Same as Bounty Hunter, you don't have to do those. They're just kind of there in case you wanted to do those. Let's see. How many points to max a hero class? I believe it increases by 1 every single number. So whatever one... I forget the formula that you would need for it. I believe it's somewhere around 5,000 something points, if I'm not mistaken. 5,500? Somewhere around there. I forget the exact number off the top of my head. But basically, you need one more... I believe for every single level, you need one more point than however many levels it is. So for level 10, you need 11 EXP. For level 20, you need 21 EXP, so on and so forth. For every single one of those level thingies, you need plus 1 to it. So 1 is 2 EXP, 2 is 3 EXP, 3 is 4 EXP, so on and so forth, all the way to 100, which is 101 EXP. I'm not sure if that's the way that it consists all the way down, but I believe it's somewhere around that scaling, which comes out to approximately 5,000-ish, if I'm not mistaken, is how much EXP you would need. So technically, that'd be 2,500 PvP battles, approximately, is how many you would need to do. Or arena battles and stuff like that, which is obviously quite a bit. That takes quite a bit of time to go and actually do. I will be grinding it out pretty heavily when they do come out, particularly to the more useful hero classes, though, and all of them in general as well. But yeah, it's going to take a lot of time to do. Might even just spam it and explore and stuff, though, of course, if I do that, it'll take like 5,000 battles. Could take quite a bit of time to actually go and do them. But of course, the specific events that they hand out will be able to give a lot more EXP towards them. But it is definitely going to take a pretty solid amount of time to actually max out every hero class. It's not something you're going to do overnight or in a week. Maybe not even in a month. Could take several months to actually go and fully max out each one. Assuming you don't spend any gems on it or anything. If we have already all challenges completed and cards leveled up, what will we do with those Kingdom Stars? You get to retain any stars that you currently have. So if you have 9-star White Helm right now, it'll retain 9-star White Helm next patch. You might even be able to go even further than that. Like, we might have 9-star White Helm right now, but on the new scaling of next patch, we might actually have 11-star White Helm, because we simply have already completed the tasks anything that you've already completed will already be pre-checked pretty much, and you'll either just have to go into the menu and just click accept, or it'll just automatically happen. But yeah, it retains all the stars you currently have, and if you already have the objective done for what the next thing will be, you can just click it and then boom, instantly upgrade, is essentially how it'll be rolling down. So yeah, good time to go get hero stars up just in case the scaling is a little bit different next patch. I don't believe it will be though. I believe if anything, it's actually going to be easier, not harder, to really get the levels. But we'll have to see exactly, because I haven't actually really looked at the higher level tiers for the stars yet specifically. But yeah, whatever you currently have as far as stars do get retained, so don't worry about that. And it's just going to be probably a little bit easier to get the higher level stars. The magician made himself vanish. Oh yeah, you were talking about when I make the thing move. Will the 50 gem switch be removed in 3.5? No, it will not. There will still be a 50 gem switch fee every single time you try to switch your hero class next patches. There's always been. They are looking into a fix for this. Their fix that they're planning on eventually is every single team slot you ever use will be able to specifically select a hero class. Same as in Raid, same as in Invasion, same as in everywhere, same as in pet battles and stuff. You'll be able to specifically set your hero class based on the game mode, and you'll be able to switch it at whim. But at this current moment in time, and starting next patch, or keep retaining next patch too, it will still cost you 50 gems every time you switch your hero class. So yes, that's going to be very, very unfortunate, but they're keeping as is. So yeah, be very careful which hero classes you choose to do, because you'll have to spend 50 every single time you switch them. So you're going to want to look over all of the hero classes and decide which one's best for you, and then spam it out until you max it out, and then basically just keep doing that. Also, it might be a good idea to not fully max out a hero class, maybe get it all the way up to level 80, then move on to the next one, and maybe just simply let the events that naturally happen every single week or every single month, and how, there's little class events, and let the class event EXP do the rest of the bulk of however many you need. Or just go all the way to 100 and don't even care about all the extra EXP. You can do it a couple different ways. Really depends how you want to go about it, and if the hero class has really good 100 capabilities. I believe all of them have at least one really good ability off of 100, but some of them are pretty bad. Like as we saw earlier, gain 10 HP to all constructs is near useless. That is a horrible benefit to have, but there's definitely a lot of really good ones down there. You just got 3 event keys from a treasure gnome. Very nice. Also, hello, Cardcore Paradise. Welcome. You feel like this is going to hurt people that are just starting because there is so much you have to do. Like now there is no mid-game. It's either early game or end game. I'd still say that there's a mid-game. Mid-game is more so going to be once you... it's still going to be around the time when you get 5 stars. Or, wait. Yeah, it's still going to be around the time when you get 5 stars. Would still be around when mid-game would really be. Wait, never mind. Isn't mid-game right now about level 10 all? Well, I guess maybe next patch it might be more towards 5 stars, but basically once you start getting enough stats on over your troops to be able to play most of the content within the game, because you have to keep in mind, while we might be getting a lot of extra benefits and stuff, and there might be a lot more things to do, the AI is still going to be exactly the same. So things like rage, challenges, dungeons, quest lines, explore, stuff like this, all of these pieces of content are going to be the exact same difficulty, but the capability of what you have is going to be stronger. So in a way, it's going to be easier to do literally everything in the game. The only things that are going to be particularly harder is Guild Wars, which is end game content to begin with, PvP, which you can just go prey on smaller enemies instead of fighting higher ones, and basically anything that ever has player-to-player interaction, basically. Because Arena is not really going to even be affected by that either, because all of the effects of your hero class and everything will not work in Arena. It's still the exact same way as is now, where nothing related to your hero, other than its actual level, where you gain like a few extra stats here and there. That's the only thing that really is applicable. The only thing that's applicable in Arena is when your hero counts as a specific typing. One thing to keep in mind, which I actually didn't mention yet, your hero class currently gains its troop type when it ends up obtaining like 150 wins with the hero class or something like that. That is going to be changed next patch, however. It is now going to be based on when you get the troop to level 20. So do keep in mind you will have to fully level the hero now, which is ridiculously easy to do, but you will have to do that to get its typing now, instead of having to do a bunch of battles. This is applicable for Arena only in that, let's say you're using Dragatar, you would want to use the Dragon Guard hero class from Dragon Claw. The main reason being is you can set your hero to a dragon, and while you don't gain any actual stat benefits or anything, your hero counting as a dragon would allow the dragon tower to give it its little bonus thing. So that's about the only reason you would ever really use a specific hero class in specifically Arena itself. But yeah, it's not really going to be affecting too many pieces of content within the game. If anything, it's going to make it easier for the player, not harder. Only the pieces of content are geared more towards endgame are really going to become harder for most players, like PvP and Guild Wars. But most other pieces of content should be easier now that we're technically getting buffs, yet the AI is not getting any buffs. Because there's no AI team that ever runs with a hero on their team. Maybe they'll add something like that in the future. Maybe they'll add a minigame like that in the future, where you fight like evil heroes of some kind. Or villains, I guess, would be the case. Like some kind of villain minigame, where you're basically fighting up against other people's heroes as villains. But there's currently no system like that. So any buffs to heroes specifically is simply just a buff to the player itself, not specifically to the AI. So it just makes it easier to win overall. Did I do raids today? No. We're almost all the way through the stream and haven't even touched raids. Let's go do a raid stream. 50 minutes in, hasn't even started raids. Good job. We'll be doing that right now. I'm just reading through all the chat and everything. Anyways, I think I've read through all chat. Sorry for talking so much. This has basically been lectures with Tacet. Let me go and head through these battles real quick. Go get the firebomb on there. And, yeah, let's go and... go clear out these and then go do some raids. I guess we'll go and save most of our raid battles for tomorrow and just do a lot tomorrow night. Of course, don't forget tomorrow is also the new pet. I'll probably do a quick video on the lower level account, just kind of going over the new pet and showing some low level teams for it and all that. Hopefully it'll go over well. Maybe I'll use a slightly better team like Tesla or something, just so it goes a little bit quicker. Yeah, no problem, Tim. If anyone else still has any other questions, let me know. Hey, we got a new pet already. I'll need to go grab that before the stream ends. Actually, I might as well go do that now. Should we just do an entire raid stream with no raids in it? At this point, it's pretty much just going to become that. Because we just got another pet I need to go do. We'll go and we'll throw that down. If nothing else, it'll leave more battles for the rest of the week. And let's go do the last little dungeon battle. So Bounty Hunter, Gnome event, and Hero class event, is there all the weekend events? Yes, and they're eventually going to add a fourth one as well, if I'm not mistaken. They're basically going to have a weekly event every single week. Or they're going to have a monthly event every week. So basically every weekend, starting not next patch, but I believe the following patch, they will have a weekend event literally every single weekend. So 1 week might be the treasure gnome event, where treasure gnomes are more common, you can get a bunch of vault keys and stuff. Then the next might be something like the new hero class event, where you get extra EXP for various hero classes, a specific one. Then the next week would be something like Bounty Hunter, and then the next one might be something like some kind of completely new feature that they haven't announced yet, and so on and so forth. And then we'll just keep going through that cycle. But yes, eventually we will have or I assume we will have a 4 times every single weekend monthly event thing. So even though they're monthly, we'll always have something every weekend starting soon. What's a good team for Queen Titania? Just about everything that creates red is a good team for Queen Titania. Generally, it gets ran with Yagway into Mana Generator, Yagway, Queen Titania is one of the most common teams to run with it. As far as what those 2 mana generators are, generally things that give red and stuff, or any of their mana color tends to be what you use. You could also simply use frontline tanks like Urgolfa and stuff like that in the context. But basically anything with Yagway plus Queen Titania is a really solid team. You can also just use 2 Queen Titanias in the same premise of double mana generator. Also, if you are using Queen Titania, it is highly advised to have her fully traded. While it's not required to make her work, she does gain quite a bit of a benefit from being fully traded. Okay, what do we have for alignment? Nothing really good. We'll just go clear out the board and go from there. New arena in 3.5 or in 3.6 will change the arena. 3.5 is not touching arena unless I missed something about it. 3.6, I believe... I don't know. But if I recall correctly, 3.5 is not touching arena at all. Oh, that does remind me. You'll be able to get some Ignots from doing PvP, by the way. Not just from the random chance of getting one from a PvP battle, But from the ratings of, like, when you hit 500, 600, 700, 800, so on and so forth, they give you a small amount of Ignots. I'm not sure what they're going to be balancing it to as far as which specific Ignots you'll get, but you will get some Ignots. I don't know if they're random or predetermined either. I believe they're predetermined, but you'll be able to get a little bit of Ignots that way. And I believe you can get a little bit of all rarities, how it's currently set up. So you'll get a couple of the common ones, you'll get a couple of rare ones, you'll get a couple ultra rare, like basically a little mix of all of them from doing your standard 1.9k PvP, which is ridiculously easy to do. Even newer players can easily do 1.9k PvP. It might take quite a bit longer, but it's definitely something that's manageable every single week, and it gives even more resources now. I believe they're not even removing any resources, they're just adding Ignots on top of the drop table, or not the drop table, but you know, those little things that you get from PvP, they're just adding Ignots to what you're already naturally getting from them, which is kind of cool. Yeah, Alchemist Moneylender is really good. Alchemist Moneylender or just 2 frontline tanks like Orgolfa. Or a, what's his name? A Ragnagord. Or anything that has a Firestorm too, like Infernus. Works out pretty well with it. You don't specifically have to use Infernus, you could use a cheaper Firestorm of any kind. But Firestorm is definitely really good with the 2 of them. Okay, how many more do we have till we get our Unicorn? Also, where are all the good pets? Haven't been getting any good pets lately. I think I got a mini Mimic a few days ago. But since then, it's felt like a complete dry streak of never getting any of the better ones. We are getting relatively close to getting all pets to base legendary, though. I'm still quite a bit away from actually leveling them. And I'm still holding out my food in case they start adding some really nice pets. But I probably should start upgrading some, because we can get a lot more orbs out of nowhere if we start upgrading them. Let's go clear out the board. Get a nice explosion. Let me take that first, though. Clear out the board. Aw, did he ruin my alignment? No, he didn't. Good. Throw that down. Somehow did not get full mana. Never mind, we did. Oh, wait. What? Oh. I just kind of assumed there'd be alignment with how many were on the board. That actually completely missed somehow. I kind of assumed at least one would get taken. Hey, we got an Arcane too. Nice. You have a challenge for me to do on a video? What is this challenge of which you speak? I don't know if I'll do it, but I'd love to hear it. What specifically is the challenge? Do you think the Valkyrie is a good replacement in your Doomskull team for Gorgolfa? Valkyrie, no. You would not want to use Valkyrie in this particular team. You would sooner use Captain Skullbeard or Mercy before you would use a Valkyrie. Both of those are higher rarity than it, though. But Apothecary, Captain Skullbeard, or Mercy are the 3 things that you would put here that would work out the best. But I would not go with Valkyrie there. If you're referring to this team, I don't know if you're referring to a different team, but this particular team you would not bother with a Valkyrie. There'd be no blues on the team to feed into. And just having more blues on the board just for those 2 alignments isn't really worth it. I don't have, speaking about alignment, I don't have any here, so I'll just throw that onto green. Okay, apparently I did. That counts as extra turn right there. Oops, did I have Glaceon and I didn't even take it? Yes, I did. Fail. I had alignment for it and didn't even go for it. Oh, well, we'll do that. And that actually wasn't an extra turn, but we did get a lot of Cascade from it. We'll go for that. Get a nice little poke in there. So yeah, I think we're just not going to do any raids today. Unless you guys want me to go over something specifically or need help building something. But we'll just save all that for tomorrow and just do a lot more tomorrow night, I guess. Because in me explaining all the 3.5 spoilers, yeah, we've almost gone an entire hour now. We've almost gone an entire hour just going over that. But there was a lot to go over, and there's still a lot more to go over, too. Let's see. Well, not a lot more. That actually did go over quite a bit of it, but still, there's some features that weren't mentioned yet. We'll go and get rid of all these yellow there. Also, I didn't really go too in-depth on stars yet, either. Because they are expanding that quite extensively compared to what it is now. In a way that's actually going to be a lot more understandable for newer players, which is kind of good as well. A lot of features actually in next patch are going to be pretty beneficial to newer players, and that it'll be easier to understand things. They're also adding quite a bit more tutorials into the game that I don't believe currently exists now, which is also going to help quite a bit. Okay, we'll go and move that over. You'd like to see good 3-pet teams. You've made few, but you want more ideas. Wait, what was the thing? Yes, you would like to see good 3-pet teams. I've made few, but I don't understand that question or statement. But yeah. Well, what are your pet teams currently? Generally, if I'm running pet teams on lower level accounts, I'm basically running one of two teams. I'm running Double Dwarven Gate Valkyrie Tesla, or I'm running a version of Devour Barrier. And my case of Devour Barrier these days, I normally use Cockatrice, Bullet, Apothecary or Alchemist, and a Dragonian Monk in last slot. You can also double up on the Cockatrice if you don't have a Dragonian Monk yet. Though the Bullet is pretty required to make that team work. Same as the Cockatrice. More so the Bullet. Go play one raid battle using Hope's Crescent if you are to the point where the enemies are high enough. Yes, they are. I'll go do that. I still haven't figured out what frontline tank I'll do, but I will go do that. And that's probably what we're going to be doing for most of tomorrow's raids as well, because many people were mentioning it. I think like 3 different people mentioned I should go use Hope's Crescent, but I wasn't to the point yesterday where I was able to. But we are to the point now where we can get away with using Hope's Crescent. So I'll go switch into that and see what it does, because I still haven't tested that yet to see if it's better. Well, we'll go move that. Go for the explosion. As soon as we finish out this pet, we'll go do that. Move that over. We'll take that little poke. And see if we have any alignment here. Go for the Apothecary on red. Oh, teams that have a 3-pet bonus? I see. So let me reread your thing. You would like to see a good 3-pet team, so you've had made a few. The biggest issue with that is most of the good 3-type teams don't currently have 3 pets. There are several good 3-type teams out there, but the biggest issue is I believe there are still some pets missing from those. For example, 1-3 triple is, that's pretty good, is Giant, Elemental, and Stormheim. Though, if I'm not mistaken, Stormheim currently does not have a pet. Similarly, another triple combo is Guardian, Elemental, Construct. But I believe Constructs don't have one, nor does Primal, or whatever the thing is called. What did I just say? Whatever the category is for those, for the Guardians. Oh, they're called Guardians stuff. They're literally just called Guardians, or something. But there's no pet for that or Constructs yet, and so on and so forth. A good majority of the triple teams that exist at the moment, that are actually viable, do not have all 3 of their pets yet. I believe one of the few that is decently viable, at least in mid-game, that does have all 3, is Dragon's Claw, Mystic. Has all 3. It has that new dragon that we got the other week, or the most recent new one, which gives you Dragon bonus. Dragon Claw already existed, and that eyeball thingy counts as Mystic. Okay, we'll go explode all those. But yeah, I could do that in the future, though I believe currently with the pets that we have, it would be a very lackluster video, because a good majority of the viable ones don't exist currently. So there wouldn't really be much to show. I don't even think we could do the Human Knight Sword's Edge either. Sword's Edge doesn't have one, nor does Knight's. Actually, nor does Human. Not a single one of those 3 have it. Like, all of the good triple combos don't currently have it, unfortunately. Or at least all of the viable ones. Do you think... never mind, I already answered that. Let's see. Oh, hello, Simpon. Did we have a code? No, Salty did not give us more codes yet. She will soon, TM, but she still hasn't yet. We made sure to let her know a billion times last night, but she hasn't given it yet. It wasn't even me telling her most of the time. It was actually other people. But I did remind her at the end of the stream as well, and she still hasn't sent it. Let me go check the forum real quick. Maybe she sent it as I was doing the stream. Nope, we still haven't gotten it yet. Come on, Salty! But no, we'll have it soon, but it's just taking her a little while. We'll go for throw this down. It's going to be a complete miss, but as long as he doesn't get anything too good out of it. Okay, yeah, he actually does. As long as he doesn't kill Gorgulfa, we're fine. And he doesn't, so we're fine. Go grab all that. Nice, nice. We'll go for it again. That's match. And just take a little bit more mana, a little bit more damage. Throw that again, dead. And it was still our turn just in case it wasn't. And we get our automatic map pretty much. And there we go. Let's go claim our new pets. And we got 3 tiny corns. Very nice. I believe that's almost enough to go upgrade it. Let's go take our tribute. We're starting to get close to base legendary, even though it doesn't look like it on our pets. But we are starting to creep towards it. Actually, how much pet food do I have right now? I probably have a pretty decent amount of pet food just laying around. Let me see. Let's go upgrade you. Can we upgrade you? We have 74 blue, 92 green, 81 red. We still somehow have so much yellow pet food. We have 70 purple, 73 brown, and I still haven't used a single white pet food yet. And we're at 614, though I believe I will be dumping the white pet food soon. The main reason I'm holding out on the white pet food is mainly if they add a new pet to the game that I really want. I'm probably going to maybe spend gems on it and then white pet food it to max. Because even just getting it to mythic will not give you enough pet food to actually go and level it to mythic. You're going to need to substitute white pet food to get it all the way to max, and that's basically what I'm saving that white pet food for, mainly. I don't know if they'll ever really add a pet bonus that will be that applicable, but they did say they might eventually add a pet that will give a bonus to poison, or a bonus to burning, and a bonus to other various stats effects like that. And if they ever do add something like that, assuming it's just as rare as all the other pets, or, you know, similar rarity, I would want to go and spend all my gems to max it out and then go white pet food it. Because it would be very, very beneficial to have a stronger poison and burn, especially if that works in arena as well. I don't know if it would, but that would be super overpowered if it worked in arena. And it would make it even easier to farm arena and stuff like that. So that's mainly what I'm holding out my white pet food for currently. It's also why I'm not really upgrading many pets, even though I technically have like hero mastery, probably, or pet mastery of like 350 right now. I'm not bothering to upgrade them because I'm saving out for some of the better stuff just to make sure I don't have to craft the food or anything like that. But yeah, eventually we'll be upgrading all of these. Let's see, how many is our tiny corn at? Looks like we don't have enough to go upgrade it. We still need 3 more tiny corns before it becomes a legendary, but it's getting there. Some of them I don't have leveled up at all. This guy I don't even have leveled to epic yet. Gosh, some of them I'm definitely missing quite a few copies on, that is for sure. But we'll get around to it eventually. Let's see. I'm going to open up a pet go. Anyways, let me go do what was suggested, which is go run raids with that weapon that everyone has been mentioning. So I still haven't bothered using this weapon yet, specifically for this game mode. What was it called again? Hope's Crescent. So now that we replaced that with Hope's Crescent, we're going to need to change up something else in our team. So we're going to have to get rid of that. Now that we've gotten rid of that, we now need brown into our team. So now we need a brown tank in Golvania. Does that exist? Is there such a thing? Brown tank in Golvania, go. What do we have? Ghoul, useless. Grave Knight, questionably useful. Werewolf, found it. Okay, I know what we're using now. And it's still brown even after its thing. So this will be our team then. Anything else we need to revamp? No, that looks like it's it. Banshee to feed Hope's Crescent. Actually, in a way, we could actually just put Carmella in front of him. But your damage starts getting lower over time. But then again, you could do your damage to everything. So yeah, I believe that's the game plan. Though then again, the Archer would be nice to have that 15% instant kill. I'm not sure which way I should put this. Actually, he doesn't have anything that directly hits last slot, does he? I can just do it like that. This kind of gets rid of the whole aspect of this having 50% instant kill. But still, this allows us to now have a Werewolf frontline tank. This now allows us to have a Convert, which does purple to blue, which would give us Carmella. Oh, I don't want Carmella being blocked, though, by Banshee is the only problem. So I actually do have to put Carmella there. So we'll have Werewolf feeding blue into that. It also feeds brown into itself, if I'm not mistaken. It converts all yellow to brown, which is somewhat bad, but still, it's okay. I might need to change up banner now that we're running it this way. It might actually be pretty good to go, like, +1 brown-purple. Could even just a +1 purple might be fine. You don't give any extra, do you? An Air Spirit. No, never mind. None of that. Oh, no. You do have +1 to purple. Oh, perfect. Banshee is actually helping us a lot. Banshee is helping us out a lot there, then, because of that +1 purple. So I'm almost leaning towards a brown-red, then. One red for the Crescent and one brown. It's a little bit of a waste, but it helps get Werewolf and the other form up just a little bit quicker. So we can keep using as a frontline tank. And as long as it can survive one hit, which I believe it will be able to until we hit true damage towers up there, we'll be able to tank it out with a Werewolf. So I believe we do go brown-red here. So we'll do that. Brown-red traits, brown-red banner. And see what we can do with this. Okay, so we'll go that. A Werewolf, Carmella, Banshee, Hope's Crescent, and... I don't know, I feel really weird putting Hero in last slot. Because we never get to utilize this Archer. But for now, we'll go give this a shot. So Hope's Crescent, basically what this will do is triple damage. We'll hit 99 per hit. And we do this to basically everything on the entire enemy team. This will still require us to double shot the raid boss. But it does allow us, at least currently, to one-shot all these other troops. As long as they have over 65 HP and under 99, we will one-shot all of them. So, yeah, we'll give this a shot, see what happens, go from there. Can you show weapons in Soulforge? What do you mean by that? I can go do that real quick. Soulforge weapons. There's nothing new here. Just the standard stuff that's always craftable here. Always, like always. Oh, you also get the Wall of Oblivion, which if you're not going to spend 250 gems on, though I believe it's actually cheaper just spending 250 gems on it, with all the other stuff that you get from spending those 250 gems. So I wouldn't really bother ever crafting these weapons. They're better off just either completely ignoring or spending 250 gems on is the best way to do it. Anyways, let's go do our one bounty battle. I mean, one raid battle and see how this goes. And if this works out, this will probably be the team I use for a good majority of tomorrow when we end up going and doing all of our stuff. So I believe everything's in order. Don't need to switch anything up. Looks fine. Let's go into it and see what happens. Yeah, the true oh, sorry. Did I say true damage towers? I meant, never mind. I'm thinking wrong game mode. I'm thinking invasions. Brain fade. I know. Never mind. Ignore what I said about true damage towers. Ignore that. But we'll go do that. Take the red there. Let's see. It's weird that I mentioned that, yet said we could use our archer. I was like thinking half one game mode and half the other simultaneously. Okay, we have purple to the thing, so we actually have an extra turn just sitting here, plus we'll get full mana on her. So basically what we do with this is we hit first slot. We hit that. We now throw this. Oh wow, this combo is actually really nice. I don't know if anyone actually specifically mentioned this combo yesterday, but I could see this actually being pretty decent. We'll take that. We have the converts we need. We keep making sure that we never die on first slot, which isn't as useful in this game mode, but still somewhat helpful. We also have an extra turn off it, so we can just throw this right now. The only problem with this is we don't have anything else that uses brown. Generally, if you're using him, you want to have at least one other troop that uses brown. But let me go move him back into a werewolf just so we can go have him do something. At least if nothing else, he feeds right back into himself. And we can actually use this to fill Carmela right back up as well, and target now all the way all in on the other guy. I don't have enough boost ratio to go and kill it, I don't believe. We gain 13 additional damage? No, 9 additional damage, just per every purple. So that would bring our damage to 41, which is not enough to kill. So with that being said, we're not going to bother poking him. We'll instead just go move all this. Skull, we could, and maybe go get a free extra turn right there to kill him out with, which I believe is... Oh, he webbed us. Never mind. I can't do that. We get unwebbed once we get converted, but still, it's going to reduce our damage on the initial poke. And now we don't have our extra turn. And now that we are uncleansed from that, we no longer have our extra turn. Fail. But we can still go in for the kill. I believe we have enough boost ratio to go for it. So we'll go for that, transform right back to a villager. Any effects we had on us get removed. So when we switch back, we'll have that web off us as well. Ideally, we'd be able to keep converting so he never dies. So it does look like right here he's probably going to go down. But we have one-shot capability still. I'm going to do this on Giant Spider just because I don't want it to summon. If it kills that, it's not really that big a deal. It doesn't matter how many troops we lose in this game mode. It only matters if we win the battle. So move that over. Get another poke at it. We don't need the blue to red convert, but we'll go do that. Also, the fact that he creates more blues does help Banshee a little bit as well, which I guess is helpful. Not going to make that big a difference, but you never know. It could help with some alignment here and there. Could make the difference between getting alignment and not getting alignment on her. And somehow we got 2 skull pokes, so does he. And I don't have enough for Hope's Crescent at the moment, so we'll just take the skull and down it goes. Well, I have enough, but you know, it's web, so it would barely do any damage. And even if it did triple, it would hit like 0. That's the other problem with using Hope's Crescent too. There's a lot of webs this week. I believe that's actually going to be the biggest problem, and one of the reasons why I'm probably still going to keep using Mang. There is a lot of troops with web this week that are going to try to disable it. And this weapon only does 5 damage when webbed, meaning it will triple for 15 damage. Whereas Mang, we would always get the value off of every single time. Whereas Hope's Crescent, we are never really going to get the value off it, because the value that comes from Mang isn't so much the damage that it does, it's more so the armor tier that it does, plus the attack that it gains. Whereas Hope's Crescent, if that is webbed, we still get to retain the full value of the armor tier, but we lose a lot of value in that most of this weapon's value comes from its triple damage. And if we're only doing 15 off a triple, or with a base damage of 5, that is a very, very minuscule amount of damage compared to getting like a 30, or like a 60, 100 or something attack boost onto our hero. Just doing that little bit of damage is not going to go over well. But I do see this having potential, especially if it gets up quick enough. I might consider using it for tomorrow. I probably will actually a little bit until we lose with it, and then I'll probably never use it again. But we'll give it a shot, see what happens. Maybe I'll revamp the order some as well and stuff like that, like maybe putting hero in second slot or something and running it kind of like that. It seems a little clunky, but it will at least utilize the hero a little bit better. But for now, we'll stick with this. Werewolf, Carmela, Banshee, Hope's Crescent, brown-red banner. Might change up the banner some too as we kind of test it a little bit. But for now, we have +1 brown, +1 purple off the Banshee, +1 red for our hero, and it seems to be decent enough to function. So I'll be testing that for probably tomorrow night then. Anyways, guys, I'll be heading out for now. We will be back tomorrow night in 1 hour, or 1 hour prior to now tomorrow. We'll mainly be going over the new pet, or at least obtaining the new pet. There's really not much to go over with it. There's not really any Glacial Peaks teams you would ever bother using, but it's still a new pet nonetheless. So we have that, and of course we'll do a bunch of the raid battles with basically what we just did, and just go over any other questions and spoilers that we're allowed to say and stuff like that. I don't believe we're really going to have a lot more spoilers until next Tuesday, though. So yeah, next Tuesday will be Spoiler Tuesday again, I guess, because we'll have a lot more information from Salty that we'll be able to go and just publicly disclose. What other weapon should be used? This weapon is this week, as most weeks in raids, the only weapons you should ever really be using in raids is any armor tier weapon. And currently there's only 3 of them, and there's only really 2 particularly useful ones, and that is Mang and, well, I guess Mang, the new weapon that just came out, that blue-purple weapon, I forget what it's called, and Hope's Crescent are about the only 3 weapons you should ever really throw in raids. Mang you get at 40 brown, 40 red hero mastery. Hope's Crescent was a event weapon from several weeks ago, and the new one that just came out is also available, which you could technically use and it wouldn't be horrible. The one for 250 gems. It would cost 250 gems, but you do get a lot of other things as you do it. This weapon I'm referring to costs 250 gems total. It's what, 30, 70, and then 150, I believe it is, if I'm not mistaken, and 250 total to get the new little weapon thing. And this steals all the enemy's armor from a boss, or from anything. And then if the enemy is a boss, it def marks all other enemies. And in this case, it's pretty decent, because if I'm not mistaken, literally 100% of Zol carry, if I'm not mistaken, can be def marked, or almost 100%. So you'd pretty much be able to get triple def mark. It's really random if it would actually end up getting kills, but you'd be able to kill everything other than the boss pretty easily with this. Though the biggest issue with this is the main objective you normally want to be killing is specifically the boss itself. Also, if I'm not mistaken, the Valraven has immune to def mark. So you wouldn't actually be able to use this to quickly kill the Valraven. So I guess more often than not, yeah, you would actually probably avoid using this weapon and just stick with Mang and Hope's Crescent and other weapons that they add in the future that do similar effects. Yes, it's okay to use Mang in first position, though you have to be very careful because once you start getting deeper in the raids, they'll start 1 to 2 shotting you, and you have to be careful with that. But yeah, as long as your hero is surviving long enough to get enough damage down, it's fine. One other thing that you can do is do second slot Mang, followed by third slot raid boss, or raid troop, raid counter, and do it like that. You basically use your first slot as a frontline meat shield, and that gives you time to get Mang and all your other troops to full mana. And then you basically play your battle with 3 troops instead of 4. But this is worth it because it's a lot more important to keep your Mang alive with a really high skull value than it is to keep out a random other trooper alive. Let's see. Do you know why they're said it is in Soulforge, but it's not there? What weapon were you referring to? They said the weapons from last code are there. The Silent Knights. I don't believe it is. Silent Knight was added a long time ago. If I'm not mistaken, it was the first, yeah, it was like the second event ever in the entire game. They ended up giving out Silent Knight. It's been obtainable several other means, generally from redeem codes. I believe they gave it out one holiday later on as well. But, yeah, that's actually the second oldest weapon that they ever added into the game. As far as like ones that they actually added. The first weapon ever added was Savasi Blades. The second one ever added through an event was Silent Knight. And at the time, Silent Knight was actually insanely good. Being able to silence a backline troop like that. These days it's near useless, but who knows? Maybe we'll get some nice Ignat bonuses. Who knows? Maybe could you imagine if Silent Knight silenced the entire enemy team, or silenced like a double silence? It could actually be very viable if they made it a double silence. I didn't actually double check that to see if it is. But, yeah, there's a lot of weapons that, if they make even the slightest tweaks with the Ignats, they're going to give it a really nice buff and make them actually viable, which would be really cool. Weapons that haven't seen use for, like, 3 years could become viable starting next patch. So we'll have to see what happens. The only problem with that is they might make weapons that almost no one has viable, like Crescendo, Silent Knight and stuff like that. Let's see. Queen Titania is in Soulforge. Thoughts? Queen Titania is decent, though I would not go out of my way to craft it. The only way I would say it may be worth crafting, though I would still advise against it, but the one time it may be worth crafting is if you already have all the trait stones required to fully trade her, which is 16 red purple arcanes among the runics, among everything else. Go check it on like gemsofwardatabase.com and you can see, or if you look at any other legend that you have that's red purple, you can also see the cost. But if you currently have the trait stones to fully trade it, it may be worth getting, though I would honestly just advise against it. It's not one of the excessively, it's still a really, really good legend, but it's not so good of a legend that I would say it would be worth crafting. It's definitely really high up there, that is for sure. Possibly even in like the top 10 legends. But it's not so high that I would say it would be better than trying to use that 800 diamonds towards a mythic. Because you have to keep in mind, while you might not have a Queen Titania now, you'll have a Queen Titania way before you have every mythic in the game. So it's generally advised focusing more so on the mythics like Fair Shra and Furnace and stuff like that. And just kind of ignore the legend and just hope you get lucky by getting them eventually. There are a few that are worth getting, like Dragon Soul and Tesla and stuff, because Dragon Soul just increases your soul gain and win rate so quickly, as well as Tesla wins against literally everything in the entire game. Queen Titania has a lot of counters, and while it is really, really good for damage output, it's not as good as other options, and I don't know, if you really wanted her, I would say yeah, and if you had the trait stones for it, but it's not as good of a value as just simply putting it towards a mythic, I would say. But yeah, she's definitely not bad. She's still a really good troop, even though I don't particularly use her excessively. She's great on Red Guild War Day as well as Purple Guild War Day. You could probably get away with it if you really wanted to. And she's also really good with Yagway if you own one. Double mana generator into Yagway Queen Titania, fully traded, is very nice. Let's see. In the 800 follower code from Salty yesterday, yeah, there was a Silent Night in it. I did notice that. Actually, I believe I still have that too. There was a Silent Night code she ended up giving out. That code has actually been circling around a few times in the past as well. I was actually surprised to see it again. But if we go into our mail, yeah, we did get that the other day. I believe it was this one right here. Nope, it wasn't that one. It was this one. No, it wasn't that one. I'll get it eventually. It was this one. Yeah, she ended up giving out Silent Night the other day. I already have a copy of it, obviously. But she even gave gems in it. I think that's like... When was the last time she gave a code that had gems in it? But yeah, she actually had one with 40 gems in it last night, which is kind of cool. Wish she would give me some of those kind of things. I need to ask her for that kind of code. Gosh, 10,000 gold, 40 gems. I'll take that any day. Of course, that Silent one too, though. That's a pretty irrelevant weapon these days, unless it's getting buffed a lot with Ignots. But yeah, that's also one of those weapons where it's like almost nearly unobtainable to most people. A good majority of players do not own Silent Night because it hasn't really been added in any way, shape, or form to the game, other than by $5 purchases or random codes like that. It was available once for Glory. I think it was only like 70 Glory when it first came out. Because it came out in 2014. That is how old that weapon is. It's 3.5 years old right now, that weapon. Let's see. Anyways, guys, I'm going to be heading out for now. Thank you so much for coming down. As I mentioned, we'll be back an hour and a half prior to now tomorrow, which is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we are every single night. We'll be going over the new pet, though there isn't too much to go over, but still, we'll go over the new little guy. He's kind of cute. One I'll personally be using. He's Glacial Peaks bonus, which at this current moment in time isn't too applicable, though given that it has Queen Mab in the kingdom, that could become applicable in the future, though there's currently not enough troops within the kingdom for it to be viable, unless they're like in a buff Borealis or something. Other than that, tomorrow we'll be doing a good majority of raids, unlike today. We'll be testing out Hope's Crescent and messing around with that. And other than that, yeah, pretty standard week then for the rest of the time. So 3.5 patch, soon TM, probably hopefully 3 weeks from now. Fingers crossed, maybe even sooner, who knows. But yeah, once we know more information on that and I'm allowed to share it, I will let you guys know. And we'll do kind of like what we did this stream and share basically all the information that we're allowed to share with 3.5. But yeah, 3.5 should be really fun patch. I'm really looking forward to it, more so than other patches too. The hero class change in particular is probably what I'm most interested in as well. While it's going to be a pretty huge grind to go and get it, I do like having something to actually go grind out, because there aren't really too many things to grind out these days. Not only that, but the benefits from it are a lot of fun to mess around with, and should be good. Troll alert. What? Did I miss something? Did I miss something that I'm trolling on? Why? Did Siplom ask another question that I missed? You keep asking a question like every 5 seconds. Do you know where they said it is in the Soulforge, but it isn't there? No, it's not in the Soulforge currently. I think they just misunderstood that it was there. I didn't see it in there. Let's see, what else did I miss? Why, did I miss something? I don't think I missed anything else. But yeah, just leave it on any of the other videos and I'll make sure to go get around to it if I did miss anything. Anyways, guys, I wasted it. What did I waste? Oh, what? One of the code redeems? Let's see. I can't help that. I was just putting in every code. I didn't know it was a better code like that. Let's see. Oh yeah, there was a Ragnagord in it too. It only showed up if you clicked on it after the fact. There was a Ragnagord in the code. It was 40 gems, a Ragnagord, a Silent Knight, and 10,000 gold is what was the drop of that one redeem code thingy from yesterday. Anyways, guys, I'll see y'all later. Have a wonderful night, and best of luck with everything. And don't forget about the new pet. It's coming in, oh, it doesn't say because I have a pet currently active, but it's coming in about 5 hours or so at 3 p.m. at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is in 5 hours and 33 minutes from now. So you'll be able to get it then. Anyways, guys, I'll see y'all later. Goodbye, everyone.